African news updates on top accolade news. The headlines: Angola protesters call for stay-at-home strike over fuel prices. Kenya arrests 1,500 over deadly protests. Zimbabwe's new radio license law sparks outrage among motorists. Senegal plans GDP rebase to ease debt pressure. We start with a focus in politics. Angola protesters call for stay-at-home strike over fuel prices. In Angola, tensions is mounting as activists call for a stay-at-home strike following nationwide protests over rising fuel and transportation costs. In Luanda, police clashed with demonstrators using rubber bullets and tear gas to break up peaceful marches that involved taxi drivers, students, and street vendors. Several people were injured and arrested during the protest, which was sparked by recent cuts to fuel subsidies that sent prices and transport fares soaring. Protesters also expressed anger over poor public services and rising university fees, accusing the government of ignoring the plight of young people. Organizers said the stay-at-home strike is a peaceful form of resistance, while the government accuses opposition groups of stirring unrest for political gain. With presidential elections scheduled for 2027 and the president barred for seeking another term, the unrest may be a preview of deeper tensions to come. Still in politics, Kenya arrests 1,500 over deadly protest. Kenya's Interior Cabinet Secretary has confirmed the arrest of nearly 1,500 individuals in connection with the violent anti-government protest that shook the country on June 25th and July 7th. It described the unrest as raw and unprecedented terror, stating that the suspects face serious charges including terrorism, murder, robbery with violence, and arson. He revealed that the Serious Crimes Unit and Anti-Terrorism Police Unit are actively investigating over 120 individuals, while also acknowledging that some police officers were under scrutiny for excessive use of force. The protest resulted in 42 deaths and nearly 600 injuries, 496 of them police officers. The secretary pointed to organized attack on police stations, theft of firearms, and destruction of public infrastructure as a sign of a deliberate plot to destabilize the nation. He pledged swift justice for those responsible, including any political actor behind the violence. Moving on in politics, Zimbabwe's new radio license law sparks outrage among motorists. In Zimbabwe, a new law is fueling nationwide backlash as motorists are now required to obtain a $30 ZBC radio license before they can renew their vehicle insurance and road licenses. The Broadcasting Service Amendment Act of 2025, now being enforced by the Zimbabwe National Road Authority, has pushed the cost of compliance to $90 per term. Motorists without car radios must personally apply for exemption certificates at ZBC offices, as licensed staff have now been ordered to not process renewals without proper documentation. The law, signed by President Mnangagwa in March, has drawn heavy criticism from both the public and media right groups. Organizations accuse the government of unfairly taxing motorists while ignoring citizens who access ZBC content through their mobile phones. With rising economic pressure, many fear that the law will disproportionately burden low-income drivers and further limit freedom of access to information. Shifting focus to economy, Senegal plans GDP rebase to ease debt pressure. Senegal has raised over $640 million in its second bond sale of the year, surpassing its initial goal despite growing debt concerns. The bond issue, which closed on July 8th, was oversubscribed by more than 21%, with strong interest from domestic and regional investors. While the country's debt-to-GDP ratio has soared close to 120%, officials says the proceeds will fund public finance recovery and economic stimulus. The finance minister also plans to rebase GDP figures, which could ease pressure on its debt outlook amid recent credit downgrades. You're watching the African News Update on Top Accolade News. Just stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. Still in economy, Ethiopia's foreign aid drops. The IMF has raised concerns about Ethiopia's $3.4 billion loan-back reform plan, warning that falling donor support and growing security threats could derail progress despite the country meeting key economic targets. In a new report, the IMF praised reforms like subsidy cuts and monetary tightening, but flagged issues such as resurgent black market currency trade, weak foreign investment, and underfunded humanitarian aid efforts. With foreign aid down sharply and over 20% of population needing assistance, the IMF urged Ethiopia to quicken its policy modernization and strengthen credibility through better economic communication. Moving to crime. Three Kenyan soldiers killed in IED blast near Somali border. Three Kenyan soldiers have been killed in a roadside bomb attack near the Somali border, the Kenyan Defense Forces confirmed on Tuesday. The soldiers were on patrol between Sankuri and Kaunga, where the vehicle struck an improvised explosive device. While Al-Shabaab mentioned the attack on its website, it did not officially claim responsibility. The group, which controls part of Somalia, is known for cross-border attacks targeting Kenyan troops involved in regional peacekeeping efforts. The army hailed the fallen soldiers as heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice. Moving to entertainment. Burna Boy retracts past remarks on Afrobeats. Afrofusion star Burna Boy has apologized for his past comments suggesting that Afrobeat lacked substance, a statement that drew sharp criticism across the music industry. In a new interview on the official UK Afrobeats chart show, the Grammy winner said he misunderstood the significance of Afrobeats as a unifying movement for Nigerian music and now regrets how his words were perceived. He clarified his intention was to define his own musical identity, but now recognizes the value of the genre in advancing African music on the global stage. Now in sports. Security concerns forced CECAFA to delay Mombasa Beach Soccer Championship. Malawi's beach soccer national team is heading back home today after the CECAFA Beach Soccer Championship in Kenya was abruptly postponed due to security concerns. The tournament was scheduled to begin this week in Mombasa, but organizers made the announcement even as teams like Malawi and Seychelles were already enrolled. That concludes our African news updates for today. Stay tuned for more African news and developments. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojo Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.